If you have been off of the internet for the past few weeks, on Book Talk especially, congratulations, you have missed hell on earth. There has been an incident. This is coming out a few weeks after it's happened, so it's probably cooled down by now. But I really want to talk about it and the whole subject, not just this situation, the whole theme of it. And essentially, if you don't know what happened, there was an author called, I believe her name is Lauren something, in real life begins with an M, her surname, but she also goes by pen names Lauren Ashley and Tori Woods. So under the pen name Tori Woods, she went to a book cover designer and an editor with a book. I'm not even going to say the title, and because it's just so gross in this context that she's used it in. And essentially it was a 𝙂𝙂𝙬 fanfic. So if you don't know what 𝙂𝙂𝙬 is, it's child abuse material. And the entire thing, like the blurb, like from the blurb, from the dedication, from all of it, it was disgusting. The dedication said something along the lines of, I'll never be able to look at my 3-year-old the same, because she speaks in this book about how the male main character, the MMC, is attracted to the female male character who's 18 now, since she was 3. And so it's just disgusting. It not only is it disgusting, but the way that it was written was bad. So it was disgusting and unskilled. So the cover was like baby blocks, like baby toy blocks, and yeah, everything about it was wrong, and people are questioning how the editor didn't, you know, how did the editor work for someone like this. And the editor said that there were suggestions she made basically to cut out a lot of it, and the author refused, but also the author didn't send over certain bits that were the worst bits, such as being attracted to a 3-year-old and things like that. And then the cover designer didn't know anything except for the blurb, but the blurb was awful in itself, and pretty much expressed that it was 𝙂𝙂𝙬𝙬. So people are very on the fence about both of them, and they're both under fire, and they've both released statements. And Tori Woods, aka Lauren, whatever her name is, she released a statement, took it down from Amazon so you can no longer buy it anywhere, deleted all her social media, including her LinkedIn, because people obviously found where she worked. And on top of that, she is currently, as I'm filming this, she has been arrested and is being investigated. I had a video about her go viral. The conversations in that video are insane, to say the least. Obviously there's a couple of people who are literally, I mean, like 2 out of like 100,000 people who have viewed it, who have been like, where can I read this, blah, blah, like just fucking disgusting. And I high-key think it's her, especially one of them, because it has no profile picture. Its name is like Holly something, like it's just a basic name, no followers, no likes, no nothing, no, not following anyone, nothing, yet somehow stumbled upon my fucking TikTok about a very specific niche thing. Anyways, I think it's her. People have said that there is other accounts of hers that she's making, but yeah, so whether that's true or not, I don't know. Wouldn't shock me, to say the least. But anyway, there's a lot of conversations aside from those fucking creeps who need their hard drive checked, in the comments saying, where can I read this? There was a conversation, and it's, you guys want to see, you think I'm fucking joking? Let me show you what happens when I open TikTok. Look at the notifications that I get from this one conversation alone. Look at the bottom. You're gonna see, oh, you can't see shit. Okay, well, hundreds of comments, Lolita isn't meant to be a romantic dance, sorry. To be forbidden kind of love, it doesn't dive into the harm it does, blah 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 blah. So people are having this conversation, which is good. That was the point of me making a video. I mean, I didn't make a curated video, it was a reaction video, so. But I expressed very clearly my standpoint, where I stand and how I view everything. Now there's two conversations, one about Lolita and one about dark romance as a whole, as a genre, and the thing is, like, I could sit here for half an hour and I could speak to you about Lolita is this, Lolita is that, and dark romance is this, and dark romance is that, okay? And I just think we won't get anywhere. So I have never read Lolita. I will never read Lolita. I just won't. But I work for a company. One of my clients is literally keeping children safe online. That is their entire product. So we spoke about it this morning, and they had all read Lolita, and they had said that it is a romanticized version, like, because the author himself was a fucking pedo. So you know, people are like, it's not supposed to be romanticized, like Lolita is educational, but it's not, and it's never been viewed that way. And even if it was written with that intention, which it wasn't, because it was written by a pedo, it hasn't developed that way, okay? When you see the Lolita aesthetic, which is fucking disgusting, by the way, like, the more I work for companies that are like keeping children safe, the more disgusting I find this stuff. Like, it's disgusting as it is, and then you go into the depth of it and you're like horrified. And yeah, so it's not developed that way. We haven't taken it and ran with it in an educational way. Some people decided one day to call it art because it was controversial, and it's just a piece of shit. It's just gross. So people were having that debate of like, oh, is it like Lolita? Oh, it's worse than Lolita. The author of Lolita was a pedo, first of all. So actually, to me, it's the same. It's just more gross because it's not contemporary fiction. It was just pure smut. And this guy, well, it was a woman writing it, but this guy talking about how he found this 3-year-old attractive. And that's just overtly fucking disgusting. Whereas when you have like I don't know how old she was, 12 to 16, I'm guessing, right? And it's like a hot teacher, you're like, you can get away with it, right? That's also just disgusting though. So anyway, I think they're equally as bad as each other, especially because Tory Woods, whoever the fuck she is, has a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and has been arrested because the police found that the evidence found from her and her problematic behaviour is cause for concern for her children's safety. So, you know, power to us, you know, getting that done, and I think that's amazing that it's been taken so seriously, because it should be. But I think the conversation about Lolita versus CSAM fanfic, it's the same. It's just the same. Why do we have to compare bad things? They're just all bad. It's just bad, you know, like, we don't have to say this is worse than, it's just all bad, guys. It's okay that it's just all bad. It's so baffling. And then the second thing was the dark romance conversation, which is still going strong, and I have a headache from it. Listen, there has been people saying, oh, a lot of people read dark romance that includes things like R-word and whatever because it helps with their trauma. I have science to back that this is fake. But I also, as someone with PTSD, don't want to be like, oh, this worked for me, so it should work for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a case of that. It's just, I study the science behind PTSD because of my PTSD, so I'm like, I need to know everything about how my brain is working and what helps it. And if it helped it, trust me, I would be doing it. But factually, when you are reminded of your trauma, whatever that is, it is a negative thing. It's not a good thing. Even in exposure therapy, that's used for very few types of things and people and traumas, because it is so negative to remind your brain of what happened. And it's not saying to forget it, it's more so if you get re-triggered, your body with trauma basically goes back into that moment. And I can say that this has happened to me a lot. It happened to me on Friday. I completely broke down and I thought I was in 2021 again, which is when all my trauma was going on. You're not on planet Earth when that happens. You're just not. Your brain is completely elsewhere. So technically, if people think that they're reading it and it's helping them, scientifically speaking, oh, I know I'm gonna get shit for this. Scientifically speaking, according to the science and the research that I've done, it doesn't actually help you. It just makes it worse. The reason that it doesn't work and it's negative more than positive to relive or remind or re-trigger those kinds of experiences is mostly because you're doing it alone. You are not doing it alongside a therapist or a professional who can guide you safely through said things. And you know, I also don't think any therapist, genuinely, any professional, I see 3 therapists a month, well, a week really, but would say, oh yeah, this is good for you. It's not. They need to physically walk you through things to safely get you to a point where those things don't trigger you as bad and things like that. And I think it's very dangerous for us to say this content, this type of content is healing for some people, because for the most part it's really not. And even for those who think it might be, it's still not. Just from a scientific, like, psychology point of view, as someone who studies PTSD, it's really not. It's not doing anything good for you. And you may want to I don't know what the right word that I'm trying to use is, but like still trying to say it and I don't know what it is. But make the topic or triggers about something else, and that's a really normal, it's a really normal state to be in when you have trauma. But again, the reason it's problematic to do it this way, the reason it doesn't help, is because you're not doing it alongside a professional. So really you're just making it worse. You're not actually creating a new set of imagery for a trigger, you're just adding to it, but it won't seem that way in the moment. And it's really hard. Like, people who are traumatized, it's really hard. And I don't want to say, I'm not saying, oh hey, like, if you have trauma and this helps you, then you're lying. It's more so, when we're traumatized, we don't understand the psychology a lot of the time. We just don't. We are so in it and it's so personal. We'll kind of take anything. We'll take anything to help us, to guide us, to make us feel better. That's why, like, a lot of people, I mean, a lot of time, every time actually I see my PTSD therapist, they have to send you a questionnaire before you go enter the session. And the session itself literally asks you, like, are you doing things that are more risky, which could be as severe as like drug abuse to deal with this, or even as small as reading about the topic a lot. That's literally something that's been brought up to me by these the trauma professionals. It's so they know how to, like, help you and guide you away from certain things that won't help, like, scientifically. So I think it's important that, you know, I think the internet has this mentality of, like, if a victim says that this helps, then we have to listen. And also there's no such thing as a perfect victim, right? So, like, it's not impossible that these people just enjoy that content and it's not necessarily linked to their trauma, which is, you know, completely separate, and that's fine, I guess. But we have to have some common sense here. And, you know, why is rehashing trauma going to heal you? It doesn't. It doesn't. Unless you're doing it with a therapist. Like, in my trauma, I do EMDR, and in my trauma therapy, we have to rehash some of the worst memories every week. And when we do that, and like, I'm not someone who's been avoidant of my trauma, I'm not someone who's pushed it away, you know, none of that, but still we go through it, and I come out of that session fucking drained, so sad, triggered, emotional, you know, and that's me doing it with a professional who's trying to help me get better. So doing it, like, I can't read books that are about topics that trigger me. I have books that I know will do that, but I won't read them until I'm in a place that is safe enough to do that, and I might never get to that point. All this to say, I don't think that rape, murder, domestic violence, any kind of abuse, someone who's been abused, by the way, is speaking to you, so you should listen to me. 𝙂𝙧𝙧𝙀, literally anything like that. It's not dark romance. It's not. Like, Colleen Hoover isn't dark romance. It's just abuse. Do you know what I mean? And that's like the fluffiest kind, which is the worst way to put it. But it is. And the more that we normalize this, the more we kind of walk away from actually keeping victims safe. And this is coming from the perspective of someone who has like a hand in every pot here, right, of every perspective. So like I am traumatized, but I'm also studying PTSD, and I also work for companies that keep children safe online. So I have the legal perspective, the personal perspective, and the scientific perspective, and it's not just an opinion. Listen, I love a good mafia romance. I know someone in my comments was like, oh, we're romanticizing crime by reading mafia romance. And listen, if that's not your kind of thing, that's also fine. I get it. Like, I get it. I get it. I also get if that is your thing, I don't mind a mafia romance. I don't. Where I draw the line is when the woman in the book becomes a victim, and that is romanticized, because that's not dark romance, that's a crime. And I don't know if you knew this is something that I didn't know myself, but as someone who works in protecting children online, if you read 𝙂𝙧𝙧𝙀, so for example, if you read the book by 𝙂𝙧𝙧𝙀 that's come out, you can also get arrested because you had possession of that content, even if it was sent to you by her. So for example, if you're sent 𝙂𝙧𝙧𝙀, like real 𝙂𝙧𝙀𝙀, like videos, even though you're not the one who sent it, you can get arrested as well. So it's just something to think about. It's a scary subject because you don't want to silence people who think it helps them, but also as someone who sees the legal perspective, this just doesn't benefit anyone. Like, genuinely, if you read some of this stuff, you can be arrested, and I don't want that for you guys. Unless you're reading 𝙂𝙧𝙧𝙀, in which case you need to be arrested. Seriously, you do. So yeah, and I'm not going to say what are your thoughts because quite frankly I don't care. I do, but also, like, you're not going to change my opinion on this because it's also not an opinion, it's a fact. Everything that I've just stated is either scientifically or legally factual, so it's unchangeable. But saying that, I hope that everyone is okay and not affected, and those who are affected are okay by the 𝙂𝙧𝙧𝙀 situation. And I think also, like, dark romance slays when it's mafia romances. I don't think it's romanticizing crime, I just think you know, it's putting people in an unrealistic situation, which is the point of fiction, I guess. It's not okay when that leans into harming children and harming women. Even if that's what you've been through, you need to find healthier ways to cope. And this is coming from someone who doesn't have the healthiest ways of coping. I have some healthy ways. But anyways, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video, and I hope by the time that this is out that we've kind of reached a point where we all kind of agree on this, which is highly unlikely, but anyways, I will see you next time. Bye.